Could you imagine falling in love with a man like me, by the way, hypothetically?
You're drunk on 3 beers.
Hi, I'm Alex from NME, and today I'm joined by comic actor extraordinaire, part-time indie musician, and all-round great guy. It's Michael Cera. How are we doing?
That's a nice intro. Thank you. I have to compliment you on your shoes.
Oh, thank you so much.
People on camera can't see them.
Yeah, they're not on camera, so...
They're very nice.
You could have done my t-shirt. I mean, what's for this?
The shirt is great.
People can see that.
That's fantastic.
You sent an email to one of my reporter friends at NME back in 2017 out of the blue.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
In 2017?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember anything about 2017.
It was because you'd just done a song with Sharon Van Etten.
Oh, yeah.
For the film Dina, right?
Yeah.
What was that about? Why were you sending emails for that? Surely Michael Cera doesn't do his own PR.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, when it's come to my music stuff, I've just done it personally. I mean, I'm not going to hire someone. Do you know how expensive it is?
I don't know.
We'll get into it right now. No, but maybe I'd already been in touch with Luke a few years earlier when my other album came out, because I wrote a bunch of music publications to do a few interviews about it.
Did you get any sort of funny responses being like, I don't believe this is Michael Cera?
I think some people may have like run some kind of check. Like, is this really who they say they are?
How do you check that, apart from replying?
Ask other people or something. I think some people asked my manager. That's why. Because my
Okay.
manager then forwarded it to me and said, was this you? And I'm like, yes. And then, they did it like that, yeah.
Because your email etiquette is kind of notorious, because...
Email etiquette?
Yeah, because
I'm
right in saying that once you replied to a 9-year-old email thread, just randomly out of the blue.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. It was kind of a joke.
Did you just come across it? Because it was for Scott Pilgrim, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is just funny to bring an old email back to life.
Because Chris Evans, I think, he said that he replied, what the fuck, Chris?
What's going on? It was a good thread, though. I mean, it did merit kind of a reawakening, because we were all having fun on it back in the day.
I wonder what the email etiquette for Wes Anderson films is like. Does he do emails? Because I know lots of famous, well, Christopher Nolan in particular is very sort of analog, and Wes has quite an analog feel. Is he big on emails?
Yeah, Wes emails.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
He's a brilliant producer too. He's a brilliant writer, obviously, and obviously very, evidently very brilliant director. But he's a very good kind of curator and producer too. He's across everything. Yeah. So you get an email response from him normally quite quickly. Even I know that even my agents have told me that too. Like, even if you're an agent and you write him this, he kind of gets back to you. He's in it. Yeah. He's pushing his stuff along, very actively.
And back to the music though, because you haven't released any music, and our readers are very interested because we're a music magazine. Since that Sharon Van Etten track, I don't think.
Right, that's true.
What gives?
Well, I haven't really been creating any music. I mean, I play music every day, but I have little kids now, and I don't have time or focus to do anything productive in that way. But I hope to again. And normally it's kind of case specific. Normally there's like a specific project or intention or something. But yeah, it's just a time management.
Did the Phoenician Scheme sort of re-elevate that desire in you?
Yeah, I was hoping to get to pop in on them recording the score for this, but I just missed the timing of it. But we shot the movie in Berlin, or just outside of Berlin. And we kind of took over a little hotel out there in Potsdam. And I rented an electric piano that lived in the hotel.
Oh, amazing.
So that we could have some music atmosphere.
It lived in the lobby.
It lived in the lobby. Sometimes Wes's editing suite was like just on the other side of the wall, right next to the piano. So sometimes they were in there working and someone would come out and go like, no music right now. But for the most part, it was embraced. And we had some music nights and stuff.
Oh, cool. Who else plays on the cast?
Well, Hope Davis's husband, John... Hope came and she's in the movie, and John was with her, and John used to sing in a Beatles cover band.
Amazing.
And he's played in other bands and stuff and does his own music, so he knew every Beatles song. So when he showed up, we got like some real music going.
He kind of nudged you off the stool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'll take over that.
No, it was before that it wasn't much of a sing-along vibe, because you can't kind of generate that just by yourself. But when he showed up, and then it was like, okay, and now we got these songs and these harmonies, and it was like very real.
You used to work for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Me? No.
I was in disguise.
Oh, Dr. Lanzmann.
I recognize this assassin. Who hired you to kill me?
So my next question is about your music again. It's my favourite track you did, Clay Pigeons.
Oh, yeah.
Are you aware that it became a TikTok trend?
Yeah, I am aware of that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was like maybe a couple of years ago, it had like a spike in...
Yeah.
And I even heard it like in a coffee shop once or twice. Like I couldn't explain algorithmically why that occurred, but I was aware that people found it. It must have been something with TikTok.
How do you hear about these things if you're not on social media? Did someone just like point it out to you and you're like, what's a TikTok?
Well, I have my music, you know, when you stream music, you have like a music aggregate. Like I use a music aggregate service.
Yeah.
And I get passive revenue from the streams.
Yeah.
And from one day to the next, it was like more. You know, that's why, I mean, I'm sorry, it's a crass answer, but I was like, what's going on? And then it went away. I was like, what was that? So that's how I knew about it.
Like so many artists must see that and think, what on earth is going on here? And then someone says, TikTok.
And then, but also like young people would like, you know, or people would tell me like, my daughter loves your song. Like I noticed a spike in that, like young people knowing about it.
I've got another question for you. It's a bit embarrassing for me, but Michael, I think about you every morning and every evening. Do you know why?
No. Am I on your computer's desktop?
I think
background?
maybe this might help you to...
Oh, you use this product?
Yes, I do, yeah. So
Well,
every morning when I look at that, I think,
Great.
Michael Cera.
Use that every day.
Yeah.
You have a very good and disciplined self-care regimen. Better than I do.
But, of course, you did that famous advert,
Yeah.
which got 9 billion impressions.
Right.
Do you get people in the street quoting it at you? Or at least bringing it up?
People do mention it, yeah.
Yeah. More than your films?
I don't know. I don't think so. But you know, it's the first time I've ever really done a thing like that, and I appreciated how the whole thing went. I mean, it mainly went so well because I made it with Tim and Eric, the comedy duo who are friends of mine, and they directed it, and they were my partners in the whole thing. And this, you know, the company, Cera, and also the ad agency that made it, everybody did a really careful job with it. It was like, you know, we discussed every aspect of it all the time, and yeah, I was really happy with how it turned out.
Because it can be hard. As an actor, I imagine you're thinking, oh, an advert, okay, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah, normally I don't do them because they're, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's, you know, it's like a very narrow bullseye to find like a circumstance where it would all make sense and feel like a yes. But this was like great. And I was kind of just, happy about it. And we watched it go out live, and my son, who was like, I guess, 2.5 at the time, was because we watched it during dinner on the laptop, like streamed it, and we don't normally watch the Super Bowl or watch anything. And my son saw it came on, and he just watched the whole thing, because he's never really like seen me on the screen or anything.
This was the first time he saw you on screen, was in a Cera.
And he watched me do, and then he just like, he had no reaction at all. He was just like, just kept eating. Like it didn't make him want to ask any questions. But he was like 2.5.
He's probably not into skincare, is he?
But it didn't strike him as odd. Like that. Why were you on TV? Or something?
I have never seen you use that product, Dad. We chatted about it earlier, but not in depth. And I should bring up that you met Jackie Chan yesterday, I think, didn't you?
I met him like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Today. I didn't expect to meet him.
I think you requested to meet him because he was in this. You were doing a radio interview.
This is how it happened. They were like, you know, the photographer was taking my picture. She's like, okay, I gotta go do Jackie Chan. I was like, Jackie Chan? She's like, yeah, he's down the hall. I was like, whoa. And she's like, do you know him? I went, no, I don't know Jackie Chan. And she's like, well, come meet him. And I was like, great. So that was it. And then when I met him, I think he was like, who's this person? What are we doing? He was like, here, okay, come on. I think he thought that I was like a contest winner. He was like, okay, come on, do a picture real quick. And then like, okay.
One thing you'll never know because you can't. The truth. I suppose I'm moved by this absurd performance.
Got time for one last question, and it's a question we always end every interview with, and it's, if you could only keep one album for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
I don't know. It's going to be a very boring answer, but I just can't think, and I just,
It'll be from you,
I'll say Rubber Soul.
Oh, amazing.
I just love it.
Do you remember when you first heard the
Yeah,
album?
I mean, that's what the thing is. Like, you know, I kind of grew up being like, Beatles, whatever, Hard Day's Night. I didn't care. And then when I was like 18, I gave like a real, you know, like kind of really listen. And I started with Rubber Soul. And I remember like the first track just being like, whoa. And I think that's just my favorite Beatles album to this day. And I love it.
Have you ever met a Beatle?
I've never met a Beatle.
Which one, Ringo or Paul, would you rather meet?
What an awful question.
I'm sorry. I realised how awful it was before then. It's like, they're both good. Why do you have to choose?
Why would I just like put one of them down?
But Ringo does live in LA, so there's more of a chance that you might just sort of run into him, I think. Maybe.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. What would
It'd be
you say
strange
to
to
him?
meet a Beatle. I don't know. It would be weird to say anything to them. I mean, like, they'd
So
be
you've
so
got-
bored by whatever I had to say. They've heard it 8 billion times from every person on the planet. It must be hard to be a Beatle, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'll end there. But thanks so much for chatting to me, Mark. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Been a pleasure. Thank you.
so
Go now.
Suicide pedal.
Where's my father? Take this miserable sinner into the company.